Jonathan, you run 5 bars across London. You've had to make a significant number of people redundant. Do you feel like you're in the same boat? And what is the 10 p.m. cut-off going to do now for your business?
Yeah, well, Enzo's situation is very typical, and I'm in the same position. We employed 90 people at the beginning of this pandemic. We've already had to make 68 of those redundant. I expect to be left with perhaps 1 of 5 sites at the end of this year. We've only got 2 sites open at the moment. This will definitely mean one of those 2. This new curfew will definitely mean one of those 2 sites won't continue to be open. It looks like this government has worked out that whack-a-mole isn't working, and they decided to whack an entire industry. And 4.5 million people rely on hospitality for their jobs. This is going to lead to the closure of thousands of businesses and the loss of perhaps as many of them as 1 million jobs in our industry, which is just devastating.
Jonathan, I mean, this thing in the UK, in England, of reducing the closing time from 11 to 10, obviously can make a significant difference to your bottom line. But do you understand the logic behind it in terms of public health?
I wish I did, Piers. I mean, the evidence, the data is clear that transmission is not happening in hospitality venues. Public Health England published last week figures that show 43% of traceable infections are still happening in care homes, for Christ's sake, 26% in education facilities, that's schools, universities, 15% in workplaces, only 4.6% in restaurants and other food outlets. So we've been following the science for 6 months, but we're not following the data, and we need to be doing that because transmission is not happening in hospitality venues, which are some of the most sanitised, safe spaces for people to socialise in. We are experts at customer safety. We are experts at food safety. We know what we're doing.
Is the issue not so much that the owners are not doing their job in terms of making these places COVID secure, but that once you pour alcohol into people and they get more relaxed, they then lose the inhibitions about social distancing, and that bringing the curfew forward to 10 p.m. just is an attempt to stop people drinking so much and getting so close?
Well, you'd think so, but that's not borne out by the evidence. The Public Health England's figures show fewer than 5% of traceable transmissions are happening in hospitality venues. So why are we being targeted? Why are we being scapegoated? This seems like a distraction because test and trace isn't working. We've heard Matt Hancock lying about the number of tests per day. It's not 226,000. He's been lying on radio last week on Friday when he said that the vast majority of transmission was happening in hospitality venues and people's homes. That's simply not the case. These lies have got to stop happening. People need to understand the facts and the evidence, and we need our government of dunces, this cabinet of COVIDiots, to make decisions based on real facts and data and not just creating policy out of nowhere.